Yo, Smatmcuks, Kachalachem, Smatmcuks salty channel. Yenny hits the Yawason Hashti son Yam Denise suits. Hello, everybody. My name is Jarrell Nelson, and if you didn't know that, just go watch one of my videos. Hello. Today we are working on the word of. I almost called it Sliach. Might need to wrap up this recording session soon. Drier than the riverbeds in the middle of January, my throat is. Today we are going into the worldview of the word Sxayaxa, which not traditionally, but I'm starting a tradition, historically, I should say, is what I have done is I have taken this word and I have taken a story of another culture or something that happened across the world that might give you a better understanding of how people all across the world have the same value, but do not maybe always call it the same thing. I mean, Inuit people have like 300 words for snow. I don't even know what our word for snow is. It's Kayam. Okay. So to not break tradition, today I would like to very much tell you about the story of Coyote. Coyote and Rabbit. This is a story that I'm not super familiar with. I also read in there somewhere about how Raven, or not, I always want to call him Raven, how Coyote made death permanent. And maybe I'll kind of just sandwich that in there as well, because I don't know that one as well. I read it a handful of times, but the one, because it's a lot shorter, that I'll stick with is Coyote and Rabbit. And maybe something happens at the end. So this story is quite short. At the beginning of time, Coyote had traded, it's a little bit convoluted, but he brought fire from the place of the fire spirits by trading beads that he stole, and they gave him fire, and then they found out they were stolen or something, and then he grabbed the fire, ran down to heaven, and then he passed it to somebody or something, and then the fire spirits came down, and then they chucked the fire into the wood and told the wood to hold it there. And then when they threw it in there, the fire spirits came down, and everyone said, "Oh, we don't know where you're. We don't know. Dan's not here, man. I mean, Dave's not here." And so, that's how fire was given to the wood, as they believe over that way somewhere. Can't remember which nation that story comes from. It's probably told and shared among many nations out there in the plains. But the one that I'm getting to is that fire had been invented, discovered, brought it from the upper worlds. So fire was now in the possession of humans, and they were discussing possibly, and they don't know, that's all you know. And they didn't know what would happen if they lived here forever, because where they come from, I don't know if it's quite the same. But in heaven, you don't die, eh? You just live. And you just live. The first one to die, there was the spirit, I believe, had taught Snake how to bite. Rattlesnake had never been a biter before, eh? And, so Snake learned how to bite from this creature, the spirit. And the spirit, and so Rattlesnake learned how to bite the spirit, and he thought, you know what? I'm gonna try this out. Hey, Rabbit. Hey, Rabbit. Hey, Thumper, come here. Want you to smell how clean my breath is? And so Rabbit comes over, and he starts smelling his breath, feeling Rattlesnake's beautiful tongue all over his whiskers. And so he got bit. Dun, 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 dun. First thing everyone thought, okay, how do we get rid of a dead body? No, seriously, that coyote over there, that coyote. They talk about him as like, because in Raven, he strikes me as somebody who just got a little bit too yanimut, eh? He had all this power, he was given this great destiny and all this, and he's really smart and he's really whatever, but he only cares about himself. And if it happens to benefit other people, then you can call me a hero, why don't you? That's how I think of Raven. Not really malicious, but just careless and narcissistic. Like a lot of people I don't care about other people's feelings, only think about number one. And then Coyote seems a little bit more malicious, or a little bit more go with the flow, a little bit more this, a little bit more that, a little bit more, because he does do good things in their stories, but they always kind of talk about him, like that one cousin who went to jail like 17 years ago and no one will get over it. But yeah, they just, kind of talk about him like he's evil. But so the first thing on their mind, is to get rid of the body. Oh, we can't bury it because it smell too much. And Coyote will dig him up and, eat him or whatever. What if we try put him in a tree? Coyote will get one of the birds to bring him down. Everything they could think of, it just wouldn't work. Coyote's too smart. So one of the elders, one of the chiefs, he says, "Why don't we burn it?" And so they did. They burnt his body, they sent a prayer, and they sent his Xmenwas, his spirit, back up into Nusmara, up into heaven. And so that is the story of the first cremation of the Cree Nation. Hallelujah, thank you for the creation. No, that is the story. I don't think it's Cree. But that is the story that I read. It was even like in a textbook thing, and I couldn't really read much else about it, but there were some like hints to it. So it could have been just a totally made up story for a textbook. I like it. I think it makes sense. Maybe I'm not maybe I'm not the roundest spoon in the spoon drawer there. There's where I'll leave it off though with Laaqwmays. Salutations from your favorite salmon bell.